Strike up the band. Here come the Clemson Tigers. With that Clemson spirit and those Clemson fans. Nowhere in college football is there more zest, more color, more doggone fun on a Saturday afternoon than here in Tiger Town, USA, Clemson, South Carolina. Yes, you're born a Clemson Tiger, raised a Clemson Tiger, live and die a Clemson Tiger. So come on down, paint a tiger paw on your cheek, and join CBS as we head to Death Valley, the home of the Clemson Tigers. Today, Clemson meets ACC arch rival North Carolina. Carolina is led by quarterback Mark May, who will try to evade a tough Clemson defense. Led by Michael Dean Perry, younger brother of the man affectionately called the Fridge, who started down his road to fame right here at Clemson, and even then, he loved to run with the football. Carolina will have its hands full as both teams try to stay alive in the ACC race. Coming up, it's the Tar Heels of North Carolina versus the Tigers of Clemson. And we're live from Clemson, South Carolina. It is Orange Day here in Clemson, South Carolina. Some of the most loyal fans in all of college football. They've packed this arena, which is known affectionately as Death Valley, and would you believe it, but here is a rock from Death Valley that was given to the former legendary head coach Frank Howard. Now today for Clemson, a key matchup against North Carolina. It has national bearing on the bowl picture and, of course, the ACC championship race. We'll be back with all the color and pageantry, but right now let's check in on everything that's going on in the college game. Back to New York, and here's Jim Nance. Jim? CBS Sports presents college football. Live from Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina, it's the North Carolina Tar Heels versus the Clemson Tigers. Today's game is sponsored by your Toyota dealer in the all-new sporty Corolla FX16. Who could ask for anything more? The U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start. And by Cigna, a leader in insurance, healthcare, employee benefits, and financial services. Championship could be at stake here this afternoon in Death Valley. Take a look at the standings right now. At the top, North Carolina State and Clemson are tied with 4-1 records, and North Carolina a half game back. And now, with 2 minutes to go in the third, we get an update on the North Carolina State score. They are trailing Virginia 14-13 inside of 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. So if State loses that game, of course, it goes up for grabs, and the winner here this afternoon could be the team to deal with. So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I am Brent Musburger. There are a lot of bowls in attendance here this afternoon, taking a very close look at this. Amongst them, the Sun Bowl from down El Paso, Texas way. They want a second and a third look at Clemson. They have been following them for the last month. The Gator Bowl is also represented, and the Independence and the Hall of Fame Bowls. Now, working along with me, Eric Parsegan and Pat O'Brien, we'll be hearing from those two throughout the afternoon. And you will hear an explosion like you've never heard when the Clemson Tigers come out. But right now, in the golf cart, the injured head coach Dick Crum brings out his North Carolina Tar Heels. He suffered a broken leg 6 weeks ago, coaching on the sideline against Florida State. Now at the top of the hill, the Clemson Tigers are coming out of their buses. It is a tradition that the Clemson players board buses at one end of the stadium and drive around to the top of the hill. And there they file past the Death Valley Rock. And when they come down that hill, it is one of the more exciting moments in college football. And And just for good luck, Coach Danny Ford broke out the all-orange uniforms for this one. That means it's a special game. Only 12 times, this being the 12th, have they worn all orange here at Clemson, South Carolina. Their record in orange is 10-1 in Death Valley. Coach Danny Ford, who has spent an unbelievable 24 hours with his football team. I mentioned unbelievable. It was yesterday afternoon that Coach Ford got his Clemson team together and told them that he had suspended 2 of his top 3 wide receivers. Terrence Rulehack and Keith Jennings have been suspended for this game. While he was explaining that move to us, the telephone call came from a hospital here at Clemson, South Carolina. And he got word that Randy Anderson, his fine backup quarterback, has been lost for the season because he locked his key inside his dormitory room. He tried to get back in through a window. He broke the glass. He damaged the nerve. He nearly cut it completely in half, and he severed a tendon in his throwing hand. And, of course, he will not be throwing a football at all until next season. So, Ara Parseghian, that puts the focus squarely on their number 1 quarterback, who's had kind of an up-and-down year.
Well, it's very interesting. When I talked to both coaches during the course of the week, they both responded the same way when I asked them, what are their greatest concerns? They said Rodney Williams. Coach Crum says, I don't know which guy is going to show up. The guy that played against North Carolina State 2 weeks ago, who completed 5 out of 20, or the guy that showed up, the Rodney Williams of last week, 13 of 18 against Wake Forest and 193 yards. Coach Ford said exactly the same thing. I don't know which one. I hope it's the Wake Forest guy. And he said a cute little thing. He said, you know, Rodney Williams is a very bright youngster, but his mind is running ahead of the pace of his feet, so he's got to slow down his mind to catch up with his feet, and generally it's the other way around.
So coming up, it's going to be the Tar Heels against the Tigers. The captains will be going out to midfield for the coin toss, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff in a moment. So it's welcome to Death Valley, and welcome to you too, Pat O'Brien. Nice to see you back with us.
All right, Brent, thank you. Nice to be here. You know, this sign says Clemson welcomes you to Death Valley, but if you're an opposing team, it is hardly a welcome. You know, you talked about The Rock, but back in the 40s, a coach from Presbyterian used to come up here and he couldn't win a game, let alone score. And so he said to reporters, boys, I'm going back to Death Valley. They say this is one of the most intimidating stadiums in all the ACC. 80,000 fans, 100,000 orange pom-poms, and so loud they might call it Death Valley. So let's see how North Carolina fares as it tries to fear no evil in the Valley of Death. Let's go back to Brent.
All right, Pat, thank you. Our weather here this afternoon in South Carolina, 60 degrees, humidity at 90%. We've had heavy fog, but it has been lifting about the last hour, and a slight wind. With Danny Ford having gone through one problem after another this week, and the absence of Rulehack can affect this kickoff return team. As you see there, Kenny Miller, North Carolina. Rulehack was the leading kickoff return man in the nation. Steve Griffin and Ray Williams are the 2 deep men in orange. A line drive kick going back and hooking the corner of the end zone. And if it went out of bounds earlier, of course, it would be a 5-yard penalty. And if it went in for the touchback, which is what it did, it'll come out on the 20-yard line. So let's take a look and meet the offense here this afternoon. Ray Williams, 45, must pick up some slack at wide receiver with Rulehack out. Hooper steps into the starting lineup at number 26. Jim Riggs will play some wide receiver today. He's an outstanding tight end. Chris Lancaster is a bull of a fullback. And there he is, Terrence Flagler. The ringleader, Rodney Williams, brings him to the line of scrimmage. They throw on first down, and they hit Hooper. They throw for a first down, error right away.
Just a quick out pattern. Certainly, Hooper Hooper did a nice job. You'll see here he'll fake to the field and then turns and throws a quick out. And that'll give Hooper a lot of confidence catching the ball. There's Riggs, number 99, out in front. Big tight end, a great football player.
Yeah, I agree. That is a big thing to get Hooper involved right off the top of this game. Gary Cooper is now the wide receiver who brought the play in. He run the fullback straight ahead, and the tackle was made by Brett Rudolph, and he's a good one, an inside linebacker for the Tar Heels that time. You can see Lancaster lost his helmet as he went into the line. Let's meet the line, and it's a good one. Ty Granger. Also notice how young these fellas are. This is one of the younger offensive lines. Not a senior to deal with. There's an All-American there in Williams. Jeff Box out of Darien, Connecticut, came down here. John Phillips is another All-American candidate. On second and long, Flagler, with his first call, is short of the first down, and Tim Goad, the nose man, swats him down.
Now, Carlton Bailey, Brent, who stepped in there for injured Reuben Davis, also gave support to Goad.
A score we'll continue to watch because it has such importance on this one. Virginia's upset continues now in the fourth quarter, 17-13. If Virginia wins, then the winner of this game would move into first all alone in the ACC. And again, on the option, Williams keeps it. Out to midfield with a nice run, and Derek Donald finally getting him out of bounds, but that's a 12-yard run by Williams.
Beautiful job of faking by Williams on the option play. Watch him put the ball in, then take it out. And you can see the defenders. Burton, number 97, goes for the fullback, and Anderson does a nice job of picking up the first down. Well-executed option.
We have a penalty. There is a clip going against Clemson. A clip on this play, a beautiful fake by Williams, who took it back away from the belly of the fullback and rolled out, but it goes to no avail as the clipping penalty is measured against Clemson.
See, Brent, this is what drives coaches crazy. Let's listen to the call here.
We have clipping on the offense. It'll still be third down.
You have a penalty like that, this drives you wild, and of course, there's the beneficiary of it, Coach Dick Crum. He's done a remarkable job over at North Carolina.
He would prefer a heel leg.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. They had a first down.
Yeah, you coaches. So it is 3rd and 6. Williams slips down at the 25-yard line, backing up into the protective pocket. He lost his footing and went down, and Clemson will put it away.
Well, it rained most of yesterday, as you know, Brett, and also this morning there was a fog. It's lifted some. The field is pretty wet. We'll see whether or not it holds up during the course of the afternoon.
Now, Carolina's punt return man is a good one. He will field the punt from Bill Spires, and it is Eric Lewis, number 32. At the 37. Good coverage by Clemson on that punt by Spires. They did not allow him any return room. A 37-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Well, Arrow, why don't you introduce us to the Carolina offense?
Well, we got two Erics at split end, Eric Streeter and Eric Lewis at the flanker back. Neither one of them very tall. Dave Truitt will start coming off of an injury at tight end. Derek Fenner, 6'4", 220 at running back, and James Thompson at fullback. Mark May having a great season after coming off the shoulder surgery.
He uses his big tailback. Boy, that's my first look this year at Derek Fenner, and does he remind me of Ethan Horton with that size?
Harris Barton at left tackle. Everybody's All-American. Really a great one. At the left guard spot, Steve Steinbacher stepping in there for Davis. Jeff Garnico will come back off of an injury. Probably a good guard at right side.
2nd and 6, May on the roll. First down yardage. Dwayne Walker, number 47, brings him down, but he crossed midfield and he gave the Heels a first down. It is very important in this opening drive for Clemson's defense to exert itself. As many fans are aware, the Tigers are not noted as a comeback team, and they don't want to fall behind this Tar Heel group early.
Very important.
He keeps it on the option. Down to the 43-yard line. Hit hard by Walker, the middle linebacker, being very active early.
Trying to run the option. He fakes the dive play, comes on down the line, fakes the ball to the outside, but they didn't buy the package, as you pointed out, Brent, and he stopped for about maybe a yard or two. It's interesting that they're coming out here running a lot of the option play.
2nd and 7. James Thompson, the fullback. And here comes his tailback again, and Fenner turns it up to the 20-yard line. Derek Fenner, 23 yards, and I thought that the Clemson defense on this side was soft.
Well, they walled it off beautifully. You watch the fullback right here, turns the corner, and he got the seam right there. There was almost a clip there on lot number 5. That was very close there.
Now here is Thompson, just burying the corner on that side, opening it up. 1st and 10 for the Heels at the 21. And Fenner steps inside the 15. I like the way he picks his hole as he moves. He's a smooth-looking tailback, that big fella. He's carried 3 times for 32 yards. It looks to me like he knows what he's doing out there.
Brady came into this game with 137 carries and 789 yards, a 5.8 average, and he's done nothing to hurt that thus far.
2nd and 4. Thompson, right straight ahead. Tony Stevens, the nose guard, ready for him. And speaking of Stevens, let's meet the Clemson players who are out there defensively right now. He has about 9 defensive linemen. Chaffetz, Drag, and Meadows were starters because of their hometown, and that's the only reason. Terrence Mack, the Bandit, outstanding. James Earl, Dwayne Walker has been active so far, and Vince Taylor is number 58 out of Clearwater, Florida. 2nd and. Now there was movement in the middle. I think I started to say 2nd down. Let me correct myself. That was 3rd down. The officials conferring. And we can break away and introduce you to the rest of the defense. Donnell Wolford, one of the corners, played a superb game a couple weeks ago. Gene Beasley is the strong safety from Atlanta way. James Lott moves into the starting lineup. And Delton Hall is the veteran cornerback.
Well, there was an offside penalty against Clemson, and of course North Carolina took the penalty, and they have a first down at the 9-yard line.
There's an update on that game, 17-16. The Cardiac Kids of North Carolina State have done it in the 4th quarter all year, and here the Tar Heels run Fenner straight ahead, and Vince Taylor, 58, led the orange-clad defensive unit for Coach Ford that time.
Let's take a look at Harris Bart, number 67, the left tackle, a second man with a white shirt on. Fires out here on this short yardage play. Oh, there's a little hole in there by number 10, Keller, but Barton has got great size, quickness, and speed, and the pros think he's going to be a great one.
2nd and goal. Mays passes incomplete. That was a great hit by Lott.
Didn't look like Fenner was ready to catch the ball. He just turned, and Mays had already thrown the ball, and he was sort of surprised when it got there, it seemed like, Brett.
And there was an offensive lineman shaken up on that play. Corminius heads to the Tar Heel sideline. They have been plagued by a number of injuries this year. And May will try to convert another 3rd down. Over the middle, but short of the end zone. That was Taylor who kept him from scoring.
This is one of the plays that they've been using. Watch right here as the tight end delays, then breaks right into the seam while the defenders drop off. That was the key. He just slow blocks. You see, pass protects, waits for the linebackers to run, then releases off the line. May finds him right there. Well-designed play. Timing was perfect. Protection was right.
But the defense was good enough. Truitt is kept out of the end zone, and Gliarmas will attempt a field goal. They are really knocked down at the 1-yard line. This is an 18-yard field goal. And it's good. The importance of scoring first cannot be overstressed against Clemson at home. They are lethal when they get on the board first, but the Tar Heels kick a field goal. I look around Death Valley and all I see is orange. And, Coach, that was a very well-conceived drive.
As a matter of fact, by both teams, I think, Frank. North Carolina made a good drive down the field. They had to settle for the field goal on 4th down at the 1-yard line. Clemson came back with a well-executed drive, sequencing it very beautifully. This looks like it's going to be more of an offensive game than I thought.
Exactly, and Rodney Williams is the man who must quarterback the entire way because only a freshman stands behind him. And on the far sideline, Coach Dick Crum, who 6 weeks ago suffered a broken right leg when he was hit on the sideline during the Florida State game. Tomorrow, the NFL, here's the key matchups that you'll be seeing. Chicago against Tampa Bay. The Bears are beaten up. Peyton, McMahon, the Fridge, all could miss that game. Washington, Green Bay. Then, of course, later, Giants against Philadelphia. St. Louis against San Francisco. Joe Montana is coming back. Derek Starr is deep. Surprise kickoff. Starr at the 10. Mark May and North Carolina will put it in play at the 22. Let's check in what's going on around the Southeastern Conference. In the 4th quarter, Florida has come back at the Georgia Bulldogs. Vince Dooley trying to hang on in that annual war down in Jacksonville. It's 1917. Georgia over Florida. Boston College leading Temple 38-21. 1st and 10 for May and the Tar Heels. And they run thinner, and he creates a hole. As he got past the line of scrimmage, he kept sliding out beyond the 30-yard line. Tony Stevens chases him down there. He's a talented-looking tailback.
And he ripped it right over Pat Crowley, number 51, a freshman, the right guard for the Tar Heels, who Dick Crum says is a great one.
2nd and short. Takes the opportunity to go long. Incomplete. That was Delton Hall who broke it up. He is the leading cornerback on this Clemson team.
He has 3 interceptions, 73 yards return. You see May hangs it up here with a big ball. In spite of his shoulder surgery, he throws it a long way, but he threw it, did not lead him far enough. That's Eric Lewis. This is another look at it. You can see the ball is thrown on the wrong side of Eric Lewis.
Now 3rd and short. And May on the option keeper. And he is close to that 1st down. Let's see where they spot it.
I think he made that decision to keep the ball. He could have pitched it out. There was momentum by the trailing back, but he elected to keep it himself. It's going to be close, Brent.
Well, this is an important measurement in this game. Let's see if they put the football down, or Carolina will have to punt it away. He got it. Errol, what kind of an option quarterback is May?
Well, Mark is not you would call a great Oklahoma split tier or wishbone type quarterback, but he's a good runner. He makes good decisions as he comes down the line. He pitches the ball well. Also, his arm is shored up after that surgery, and he's a definite threat. He's a 66% passer. Here's the option again. They should have dealt it off.
That Fenner turning the corner was open for the pitch that time. Gene Beasley, the strong safety, brings May down after a short gain. This will put the Tar Heels in 2nd and 8.
I just got through saying he makes good judgments, but he didn't on that one. He should have pitched the ball out on the option. He was forced, and he had the trailing back with no one in front. It would have been a very positive play for the Tar Heels.
In the sprint draw, Fenner runs into Otis Moore, number 81, defensively for the Tigers.
Tigers use a lot of substitutions in that interior line at their nose man and the 2 tackles to keep them fresh, and they're all about equal, as Danny Ford says. They play pretty strong. Rader is in there right now with the Brian Raber at the nose man.
Lewis and Streeter are the wide receivers.
Let the roll out this way off of this formation. Here he comes. A lot of time.
Incomplete. Great coverage in the secondary by the Tigers that time.
Last week, the Tigers changed up their pass coverages against Wake Forest, caused some confusion. That time, they were in beautiful position coverage-wise. Mark May could not find anybody open. You'll see it from an end zone shot. They fake the ball, May comes to the field, but you'll see all the receivers well covered. Mark can't find anybody, and he had a lot of time. Good job by the Tigers.
Kenny Miller punts it. Wolford with a dangerous grab of that ball at the 23. That's one of the things you don't want a return man doing, is running up and diving after a ball, but he did it. It was successful. He's a good athlete. It's a 39-yard punt. We'll be right back. The focus is on the ACC, the big game, Virginia, North Carolina State. For an update, let's go to Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, Brent, Virginia was driving, trying to put this game away. On a 3rd down play, Scott Secules at quarterback has his pass batted up in the air and picked off. Right now, Eric Kramer is not in the game for North Carolina State. Under 2 minutes to go. The Wolfpack is on the Virginia 20. Here comes the comeback pack. Let's go back to Brent Nera.
Boy, what a big one that is, because if Virginia can hold on, this one would be for first. State has beaten both of these teams, Carolina and Clemson. So we'll be checking back in with Jim Nantz on that one as it unfolds. 1st and 10. And this is Flowers in the game for the first time. Kenny Flowers. Tim Goad, the nose man, got him as he was slipping, coming to the line of scrimmage.
Goad is a big guy, 6'4", 272, and just a junior. And a nice job for the Tar Heels.
They are shuttling wide receivers. Gary Cooper, number 25, came in with the play for Williams. On 2nd and 10, the pass is not held on to by Ray Williams, the senior receiver from Fayetteville, North Carolina, who underwent a hip operation and whose football future was in doubt. He's a marvelous baseball player, so you would have fully expected him to hold on to the ball in that situation as Ricardo Hooper brings in the play for the Clemson sideline.
Hey, he should have hung on to it. He was a high school quarterback. He wants to make that quarterback look the way he would want him to look.
This is 3rd and 10. Flowers short of the first down.
Much better series for the Tar Heels, although they got some help from Williams dropping that ball. Let's take a look at this great offensive guard, Phillips, number 61. Big guy, 6'5", 250 pounds, a great offensive lineman for the Clemson Tigers. Doing a job on Goad, knocking him away, knocks him down, gets a knockdown right there. Great job.
We've come to the end of the first quarter. Noah McCahern is down for North Carolina and injured. We'll be right back after this message and a word from your local stations. Clemson leading here, but Jim Nantz, what about North Carolina State and Virginia? What's happening?
Well, in that game, Brent, freshman quarterback Cam Young could not pull it out for the Wolfpack on this drive. Young picked off at the goal line by Mike Pettin. Pettin's second pickoff of the fourth quarter. It's a touchback. Virginia has the ball. 1 minute to go. They're trying to run out the clock. Let's go back to Brent Nera.
If the game winds up that way, the standings in the ACC, Clemson at the top 4-1, and North Carolina right there 3-1, and the winner of this game would take over sole place, first place in the ACC. Spires back to punt for the Tigers, who lead 7-3. Eric Lewis is the deep man for the Tar Heels, inside the 25. He comes to the 36-yard line. Jim Riggs, their fine tight end, brought him down. A 52-yard punt and a 12-yard return. And a reminder, tonight on CBS, The Wizard starts it off. Then the CBS Saturday night movie, Lassiter. An action film, I'm told. So we've got action this afternoon and more tonight on the CBS television network. This is 1st and 10, and Fenner is short of the 40-yard line. J.C. Harper and Michael Dean Perry, number 91. One of the Perry boys getting in.
Number 91, Michael Dean, right in the center of the picture there. Now he steps to the outside to knock off the tight end, and he's blocked out by Barton. And then he comes back off of that block. Old Barton tries to reach out and grab him. Look at that. But he didn't get him, and Dean did.
Marriott and Smith are the wide receivers. May puts it away and keeps it. And he is short of the first down. Gets to the 42-yard line. James Earl, number 9, making the stop on the Tar Heel quarterback.
Brent, as you pointed out, if Virginia hangs on, it has tremendous implications on the Atlantic Coast Conference champion. And this game in the next 3 quarters will determine who is going to be the leader.
Well, Era, I'm sure at halftime on the Prudential College Football Report that Jim Nantz will tell us why Eric Kramer is not playing. He'll fill in the full details on that game. This is 3rd and 2. May to put it up for Fenner at the 46-yard line, and that will be a first down.
Boy, he really got hit too, but he hung on to the football.
That was Norman Haynes who ripped him, Era.
He really did. He put a real tackle on him, but not before he inched over that first down marker. And North Carolina will have a first down.
They move the markers to the 46. Carolina trailing Clemson 7-3. 13-15 first half here in Death Valley. Fenner fumbles and recovers. Let's see.
No, he didn't get it.
He didn't get it. I thought for sure that he bounced right back down on the football, but it must have been moving.
It looked like he had it, but it squirted right out. Let's see, somebody else got it beside Fenner, but it might be a Tar Heel. It's Piper, number 52, who was injured during the course of the week. I think Fenner took his eye off of it as we look at it here again. He's looking ahead at the blocking combination, does not field the ball. You see May kicks the ball, now it comes right out, and even goes through. Somebody else reached in there and scrambled for it, can't see.
Tight end is John Keller, 2nd and long, and he runs the fullback, James Thompson, who gets nowhere against the middle of that defense. And again, Norman Haynes, 14, and Raymond Chaffetz, number 79, bring him down for the Clemson Tigers here this afternoon.
Chaffetz really closed down from his left tackle spot, and the play just didn't have any chance. There was no opening, no seams in there for him to run. This Clemson defense leads the Atlantic Coast Conference in almost all defensive categories.
This is 3rd down and 9. Fenner's in motion. May going long down the left sideline, and number 12 got back defensively, the bandit Terrence Mack.
Boy, that was good coverage. Excellent coverage by the entire Clemson team. May threw the ball, but there was no one open.
And it is a final final, you saw the key plays unfold. The last quarter, Virginia beats North Carolina State 20-16. At the moment, Clemson and North Carolina are running 1-2. State was beaten also by Georgia Tech. We welcome those of you who've been watching that game on some of our affiliates throughout the Carolinas. Here, North Carolina is punting. The ball is down inside the 10-yard line. Clemson leads North Carolina 7-3. That's a 41-yard punt. Another Tar Heel is injured. We'll break away and we'll come back and get you up to date. We are live, Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina. First place in the ACC on the line, and the Clemson Tigers lead the Tar Heels 7-3. The Tar Heels struck first. Gliarmas, an 18-yard field goal. It was 3-0. Clemson took the kickoff and marched down for the game's only touchdown. And it was their sophomore quarterback, Rodney Williams, with a beautiful fake right here to the fullback. He keeps it, steps outside the defensive pressure, and on into the end zone. The Tigers added the extra point, and they are ahead of the Tar Heels 7-3. We should also bring you up to date on a suspension story while they're in the huddle. 2 wide receivers were suspended by Clemson. Terrence Rulehack and Keith Jennings will not play today, and Coach Ford will reevaluate their status next week. 1st and 10 for the Tigers. They put the fullback in motion, and they come back with Flagler. Flagler near the 20-yard line when Norris Davis brings him down. Rulehack and Jennings, and they broke a team rule, and as a result of it, they did not arrive in time for a practice. They had been warned earlier, and Rulehack was lectured sternly by the coach. He's a senior and an NFL prospect, and the coach said, I hate to hurt his chances, but he broke a team rule. We won't use him. They run the short man, Tracy Johnson, straight ahead, and Carlton Bailey brings him down. Then, while that was unfolding here in Clemson, came the telephone call that the backup quarterback, Randy Anderson, would be lost for the season because of a freak accident. The key was locked inside his dormitory room. He broke the glass with his hand. There are your overview of what we have seen here so far between Clemson and North Carolina.
Clemson has moved the ball on the ground very, very effectively, something that I didn't think they'd be able to do against this Clemson team. I'm sorry, the North Carolina team. North Carolina has only given 139 yards on the ground per game, and Clemson has moved it very effectively thus far. 17 carries for 74 yards, and we're still 11 minutes to go in the second period.
You can see the shuttling going on. That's Jerome Williams coming off the field, and Ray Williams, 45, taking the play on into the huddle. This is a 1st and 10 for the Tigers. 10:55 to go in the first half.
Big splits in there this time by the offensive line.
They ran Lancaster straight ahead into the heart of the defense, and Tim Goad, 76, brings him down for the Heels.
Watch the left guard right here as Pat Williams blocked down to the inside. Number 75. They're trapping with, you see, Phillips comes across, and what they did was split them out. As I picked it up from up here, they took big splits to try to reduce the defense.
On 2nd and 7, Williams in motion. Flagler breaks a tackle. It's a first down for the Tigers. What a good-looking tailback he is, showing you why he is the leading rusher in the ACC.
He's really a great one. Watch him from the end zone here. Number 33, right off just a sprint draw. Good blocking right at the seam. And then number 61 comes off, Len Dempsey, and makes the play.
Now that puts him over the 1,000-yard mark. And he's only the 5th back in Clemson history to go over 1,000 in a season. Williams with a great fake. Inside the 30. Derek Donald saving the touchdown.
North Carolina has not stopped the option play, particularly when Williams keeps it. They go for the fullback. Williams has come clean virtually on every option that he's run. From the ground level, you'll see a good fake to the fullback right there. Now watch him keep it. Look at the hole that he's running through. No one's assigned there to take him, and he's picked up an awful lot of yardage. North Carolina's going to have to change their defenses.
That's 41 yards on that play alone for the sophomore from Columbia, South Carolina. Kenny Flowers checks in at tail, and here he comes. He's inside the 20-yard line to the 19. They bring a fresh tailback at that Tar Heel defense.
Come with two tight ends. They bring the motion. They run a power sweep. They've been successful with that play, but there's no question that the offensive line of Clemson is commanding the line of scrimmage.
Dick Crum looking concerned as his defense gave up the big play to Maryland last weekend. Lancaster stormed back by Leonard Dempsey, number 61.
Dempsey's just a sophomore, 6'2", 227, but he really filled that hole the way a linebacker should. Good tackle in there.
Maryland giving Penn State a game today. Michigan and Oklahoma both continue to roll this afternoon. And of course the big story in the ACC, Virginia beats North Carolina State. And coming up in the Prudential College Football Report, we have 8 minutes left in the first half, and then Jim Nance will fill us in on everything. We've got a timeout called by the Tar Heels. When you come back, it'll be 3rd and 2 for Williams and the Tigers. We'll be right back. Well, before Coach Crum knew what was going to happen in Virginia, I asked him, can anybody catch North Carolina State in the ACC?
Well, I think it's possible. Of course, our game with Clemson, whoever comes out of that with a win certainly has an excellent chance to stay right there with them. State still has 2 league games to go, and in the ACC, anything can and usually does happen. And so, you know, it's like Yogi says, it ain't over till it's over.
And Yogi was right again, Coach Crum. Here, Coach Crum and the Tar Heels are very concerned about a 3rd and 2. Williams pitches outside to Flowers. Touchdown, Tigers. Clemson, South Carolina, and we have seen those pom-poms waved after 2 touchdowns here in the first half. Treadwell adding another extra point, and it goes to 14-3. Clemson with the lead.
Here's another look at the touchdown. Beautifully executed option play. The fake to the fullback. This time Williams is forced to pitch. We lose him just for a moment, but it was a great throw. I mean, the pitch out, perfect, and the blocking downfield was excellent. And you see number 48, Kenny Flowers, man with tremendous speed, score the touchdown.
From ground level, the quarterback, Williams, freezes that defense. Look at 61 by the fake to the fullback. Then the pitch outside to Flowers. He turns it up on the defense and goes 18 yards for the touchdown. But Rodney Williams is a magician at quarterback with one fake after another, keeping it sometimes, pitching to the trailback, and now North Carolina will have to respond.
Here's another look at the touchdown. You'll watch that Williams fakes the ball here, attracts these 2 linebackers. But right here, the replacement for Rulak, the flanker back, does a great job, which is Richard Hooper. And then Williams comes down and makes a perfect throw right there for the touchdown to Flowers. Beautifully done. There's the fake. The linebackers step in. The outside linebacker is on an... Hooper is right here that gets the block that sets Flowers down the field. Right there. Beautiful job by Hooper. And touchdown for Clemson.
Wearing their lucky orange uniforms for only the 12th time here in Death Valley. They are 10-1 while wearing orange. And again, that scoring drive all on the ground, just like their first one. Sile to kick it off. Eric Starr at the 8. Out at the 25. And a reminder that next Saturday we have a doubleheader coming your way. We'll start you off with the Ohio State Buckeyes, who are on a roll after losing their first two. They'll be taking on the Wisconsin Badgers, the Badgers who denied them a trip to Pasadena. Then following that, you'll be seeing either UCLA against the Huskies of Washington or right back in the ACC, Clemson against Maryland. Here the Tigers lead the Tar Heels. Mark May brings them up and hands off to his tailback, and on first down he brings it out for a first down. Eric Starr stays in the game after returning that kickoff. That's the first break for Derek Fenner here this afternoon.
Eric Starr comes in here with 54 carries and 284 yards, 5.3 average, a very fine running back, and he ran that particular isolation play up the middle very well.
James Thompson is the fullback. Smith and Marriott are the wide receivers. Keller is the tight end. Starr trying to stretch the defense out, and he won't get the job done. Great play by Beasley. Number 27.
Strong safety came up and made kind of support that a strong safety is supposed to make on a play like that. Gene Beasley up here at the corner. Watch him support. Here's the pitch out. As soon as he sees the action, here he comes, number 27. Look at him fly up that field as Starr tries to get the corner, and there he is with the play.
2nd and 11. It's complete over the middle to the 44-yard line. Norman Haynes in defensively to make the stop. John Keller, the tight end, was the receiver. Keller moved into the starting lineup because of an injury suffered by Truitt, and he did a fine job last week against Wake Forest.
She's from Toledo, Ohio.
Third and 5. May with penalty flags on both ends of the line of scrimmage. You saw the movement down in the middle of the pit down there. So at the 6:15 mark, the officials will sort this one out. And Errol, what about this Clemson defense against the rush this year?
Well, they've been sensational. They're number 1 in the conference, very high in the NCAA standings. And we'll see what the official says right here.
We got offsides on the defense. That's a first down.
I think that May has been doing a good job. That's the second time. He's changed his cadence anytime it's third down and less than 5. He's staggering his cadence, and he's drawing Clemson offside. Very smart move by Mark May.
Delivers the play to his teammates, and the 6'4" junior from Charlotte, North Carolina, brings the heels to the line. Fake freezes the defense, throws low for his tight end Keller, incomplete.
Mark May really threw off balance that time. He really was not in position. His feet were not in good position. Threw all with his arm. It's an arm that had surgery in 1985, and you can see what they've done with and without May. But on that particular play, he was really off balance.
Underway, and the top-ranked team probably will have no difficulty with that one. 7-0 Haynes. 2nd and 10. Here's the pitch to Starr. There's another penalty flag down, and Starr battles his way down to the 47-yard line, but it might have been all for naught that time.
They drew Clemson offside again. He's staggering the cadence, I think. I believe that's what it was.
May walks over to the officials to listen in. Auburn bouncing back. And Ohio State on that roll. We'll see them against Wisconsin. And then, of course, the great confrontation with Michigan. And this one goes against North Carolina.
Well, let's see. He might have called him, drawing him off. They'll give us the information here.
We've got illegal procedure on the offense. Quarterback simulating a play.
He caught him moving apparently, drawing him offside. Let's see if we can see the quarterback move here or not. Neither. I didn't see him play.
He might have done it verbally. 2nd down and 15. And Finner returns. He's near midfield, but that will leave the Heels with a 3rd and 9 as J.C. Harper, number 77, brings him down.
Well, simulating a play is you start by moving and drawing them offside. The quarterback making an unusual movement. I don't know whether he was bobbing his head, but I didn't see any movement. And you can't do it verbally. It burdens on the defense.
Sets the screen. And Finner to the 45 and fumbles. Clemson recovers.
Beasley got the ball with strong safety.
Darrell, watch Haynes deliver the blow here.
The swarming Clemson defense does a remarkable job. Where you see Fenner turn inside, there's the hit right there. And Beasley, number 27, a strong safety, comes up with it.
It was Haynes who delivered the blow coming in from the side right there. That jarred the ball loose. And on 1st down, Williams goes deep and incomplete. Cooper was working down the left sideline, and Baldwin of the Tar Heels with the coverage on that play. It's 14-3, Clemson with the lead, and they were trying to get more.
Well, they were trying to get a home run there, and he was open. If he had let him, he let him into the sideline instead of up the field. Williams, if he hung the ball right straight down the sideline, not out of bounds, it could have been a big, big play for Clemson. Cooper had him beat.
2nd and 10, and they come back with the fullback, Lancaster.
Well, John Phillips, number 61 at right guard. Jeff Back at center. And Pat Williams at left guard is doing a great job on the inside on the North Carolina defense.
Dan Harriman and James Coley are in for Coach Ford at receiver. They're using some of their tight ends as wide receivers today because they are undermanned. Williams keeps it short of the 1st down.
Well, North Carolina had to go almost into a goal line deployment to stop that option play. They did stop it short of the 1st down. But this is not the same Clemson team that we saw 2 weeks ago playing against North Carolina State. This is a team that we expected to play. And certainly they're playing that way today.
Spires with 2 punts already today. Back deep is Eric Lewis. At the 16. It's out to the 22-yard line. It's a 35-yard punt and a 7-yard return. It's 14-3. We'll be right back.
Pat O'Brien on the sidelines with Freddie Perry, the brother of the refrigerator, and Michael Dean. You guys had 8 football players in your family?
8 football players.
And you all played?
We all played tough, too.
Now, Thanksgiving comes around. Who finances that meal at the Perry household?
I guess I do, since I work at Savannah River Plant.
Brett, you can have any 8 guys you want. I'll take the Perry brothers.
I'll take the magnificent 7. Anybody who's armed against that bunch. Oh, boy. The Bridge himself is down with a knee injury, I was reading, and we'll be checking in on that tomorrow. Boy, there's turmoil surrounding the Bears. They lost to the Rams Monday night. They'll be trying to come back against Tampa. This is 1st and 10. May keeps it. Now pitches to Fenner, and he is stormed under by James Earl, number 9. Here's one of the brothers, Michael Dean Perry, number 91, and he's drawing a little attention there, Earl.
He sure is, but Earl, number 9, comes off all of those blocks, and really a fine athlete for Clemson, does a great job.
Eric Lewis and Eric Streeter are the wide receivers. Underthrows his tight end John Keller, and Mark May is under a great deal of pressure from this defense.
Once again, Mark May threw off balance. He threw all with his arm, and I don't know that's that strong. His feet were not set. Take a look at him here from the end zone. He has to throw with his arm. He doesn't step into the throw and finish it just the way a baseball player would be throwing. He kind of throws it with the arm. Look at this. Just throws it. Just all arm. Can get it there. That's twice he's done that.
He's 4 of 10 for only 27 yards. 3rd and 11 for May. He sends Fenner out. Incomplete. Pass was intended for Streeter. And Richard McCullough and Tony Stevens put on pressure defensively.
Clemson defense is doing an excellent job, but I think Mark May is rushing his throws. He's not setting himself to deliver and stepping into it. Once again, he did it. He couldn't get it on target.
Miller punting. Wolford steps out of bounds at the 45. There's 2:33 to go. It's 14-3, and Clemson will try to get another touchdown when we come back. Well, Errol, let's present this week's Toyota Leadership Award to those players who have been singled out by their coaching and faculty staff. And today's winners are Harris Barton from North Carolina. He's a senior business major, a 3.18 grade point average from Atlanta, Georgia, and a great football player. Ty Granger from Clemson. He's a sophomore accounting major, 3.2 average from Easley, South Carolina. And Toyota will donate a check in the amount of $1,000 to each of the school's general scholarship funds. And here, Williams rolls out and complete. Down near the 40-yard line to big Jim Riggs, number 99. You'll see him in the NFL. A lot of action in college football, and this could juggle the rankings next week. Penn State beats Maryland, but only by 2 points. Jim Nantz will have the details and highlights on the Prudential College Football Report. And at last check, Michigan was running it up. So Michigan could move into second in those rankings. Williams coming around the corners inside the 40, and Brett Rudolph brings him down. I'm stressing the rankings because they will have a bearing on the College Bowl picture. There has been a lot of talk about the possibility of a Miami-Penn State matchup if they stay unbeaten. But a lot of folks are forgetting about Bo Schembechler in Michigan. They too are unbeaten and playing very well. 31-7 in the 4th quarter. They could be number 2. We'll have to wait and see how the votes are tabulated and come in from around the country. On 2nd down, Williams to Flagler on the sprint draw. 1st down. And the Tigers are on the move at the 133 mark.
Little misdirection again where they fake to the field to the fullback. Watch this. Then he'll cut it back. Nice opening here. Beautifully blocked hole. Number 75, Williams, makes a great block. If he'd have kept his feet, he's a 4.35 runner. He can really fly, but he slipped. Here's another view of it. Watch him kind of slip right there. Well, I guess he got tripped a little.
And on 1st down, Williams on the roll. On that far sideline, his receiver was going out of bounds as he threw the ball. He was rolling over to the right, released the ball toward Hooper, who was falling out of bounds, made the catch, but he was already out. And Coach Crum, with that broken leg, watching from the sideline. He was asked if it would slow down his fishing at all yesterday by Coach Parsegan, and he said, nope, but my wife was very concerned that she might have to carry the motor to the boat. Second and 10 now. Williams hands to Flagler. He busts inside that 25-yard line. If you have not seen Terrence Flagler, you're looking at one of the better tailbacks in the nation. And he started the season number 2 behind Kenny Flowers. But he quickly moved to the top of the depth chart for Coach Ford after Flowers was slowed by injuries. And now Flagler is heading toward a possible first or second round selection in the NFL. We'll be right back. We've got a timeout. Back in Death Valley, along with Pat O'Brien and Ara Parsegan. And Ara, what's your evaluation of North Carolina and the way they're playing defensively?
Well, defensively, they've given an awful lot of yardage because the line of scrimmage has been commanded by Clemson. Of course, this is still the first half.
Here's the pitch to the trailer, who was Flagler, and he stepped out of bounds at about the 19-yard line. Walter Bailey, number 29.
The option was better defense that time. They're having a great deal of difficulty on the quarterback and the pitch.
How you Irish doing here?
Oh, my goodness, 61-22.
Hey, look out, Joe Paterno.
Yeah, look out, Penn State.
Oh, boy. You talk about Death Valley. Next week in South Bend, we've got another timeout down here on the field. Over to the sideline comes Williams. Boy, the ACC has had some moments, haven't they? Did you see what happened last week at the end of that Maryland-North Carolina game? I mean, it was wild. Bobby Ross thought the Tar Heels were all out of timeouts. Inadvertently, the officials had taken a timeout off the scoreboard. And Ross was furious because he thought they gave him an extra one, and that allowed them to set up for the field goal. But what happened was May was moving the ball to the other hash mark, so it was not officially a timeout. That allowed the winning field goal to be kicked by the Tar Heels, but Ross was not done. He set the record for the 100-yard dash in pursuing a zebra. He broke through the protective wall, then got to the other one, and that's why he was suspended for the game from the sidelines next week. And next week's game that you'll see on CBS between Maryland and Clemson will not have a head coach on either sideline. So a field goal attempt being attempted here by Treadwell, unless it's a fake. It's a 36-yarder. It's long enough. It's good. Treadwell makes it 17-3 over the Tar Heels of Chapel Hill, North Carolina. One of the prettiest campuses you'd ever want to visit up there in North Carolina. Let us pay a visit.
Clemson University. In the uniquely American tradition of land-grant universities, knowledge belongs to the people, not just to the scholars. Clemson Research in Emerging Technologies is bringing knowledge of robotics and biological containment of agricultural pests into the real world. Clemson balances its research mission with public service to individuals and to communities. At Clemson, the concept and the tradition are a dynamic reality every day.
Death Valley so far for the Tar Heels has been just that. They kicked a field goal and went ahead 3-0 in this game. And Clemson has put together 2 touchdowns and a 3-pointer of their own. And inside of 1 minute here in the first half, and they lead it 17-3. Siles kickoff to Starr at the 5. He who hesitates is lost. Tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Time. Why not a black head coach in the NFL? Herb Cross takes a look at that story. And we'll check in on the Chicago Bears. Will Doug Flutie be playing tomorrow in Tampa Bay? We'll have that story at 12:30. And here are the Tar Heels trying to get something going against this rugged Clemson defense. They run Fenner on first down. Out close to the 15-yard line with the seconds ticking off the clock, and Coach Crum wanting to get a head start perhaps on his players. It takes him a little bit longer than normal. The Clemson athletic department provided him with a golf cart when he led the team onto the field here prior to the kickoff.
I wouldn't think they'd want to take any kind of risks down here. They're only 2 touchdowns behind. It's smart to go into the locker room with just 2 touchdowns behind. We've seen other teams try to gamble and have it backfire on them another score. At least they can regroup and come out here for the second half because there's a lot at stake.
5 seconds ticking away, and we'll come to the end of the first half. Clemson scored twice in the first half. Williams kept it and stepped in for their first touchdown. On the second one, off a beautiful fake to the fullback, he kept it, stepped outside, pitched it to Flowers, who made the cut and stormed in. After that, the Tigers added a field goal, and they are celebrating the color orange in style here in South Carolina. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local stations. Here in Clemson, South Carolina, it's starting to look like the Great Pumpkin down here. It's orange is the color, and the big flag being unfurled down there. I'm Brent Musburger with Ara Parsegan. Ara, you said at the top of the day, Rodney Williams, the Clemson quarterback, was the key today.
Well, he certainly has been. His running has been extraordinary. His statistics, as you see right here, 7 rushes for 68 yards, and he's run the option play beautifully this afternoon. Now, here was his first touchdown, but the key here, this is Riggs, the great tight end. Watch him come in and not block just one linebacker, but 2 linebackers, and of course, Williams steps into the end zone wide open. Watch Riggs, that tight end. Look at him block 1, 2, and look at the opening that Rodney Williams has to carry into the end zone. There's no linebackers there because Riggs wiped them out.
That's why Riggs will be a top draft choice. How about their other score, Coach?
This time, the flanker back does a marvelous job. Hooper, who replaced Brulac, and blocks the corner downfield on the option. But Williams this time does a great job of dealing the ball off to Flowers right there. Marvelous pitch. There's the block there by Hooper that sets that play off for a score.
So Clemson with that 2-touchdown lead in this game, and now the focus is on Mark May.
Mark May had a tremendous game last week. This week he has not done very well. A week ago he was 25 of 40 for 316 yards. And of course this afternoon he's 4 of 11. I still think that he's throwing off balance and just 27 yards. He's got to have a great second half to bring this team back into the game.
Courageous young man. He missed all of last year because he underwent shoulder surgery, and we'll see what he comes up with. This has been the wild conference so far. Of all the conferences, the best finishes have been right here. We'll be back with the second half.
Well, as Brent Musburger pointed out, there's so much orange here, you might call this the Orange Bowl this afternoon. Clemson leads 17-3. Now, before we get you back to the second half, I'm Pat O'Brien along with ACC Commissioner Bob James. And let's talk about the press box game next week. First of all, what sort of restrictions will those coaches be under?
Pat, the only restriction the coaches are under next year is they may not be in the sidelines during the course of the game. They can be there pregame. They can be in the press box, of course, calling plays, doing whatever they want, go in at halftime with the coaches. They're just restricted from the sidelines during the course of the game.
Now, you've got that game next week. You've got a couple of funny games next week, and you've got the press conference, or the press box game, and then you have Virginia and North Carolina. We'll call it the crutch game.
Absolutely. 2 coaches with broken legs. Isn't it my luck?
Now, you just promised the second half's going to be close here.
It's always close when these 2 teams play, Pat. It's a good ball game.
All right, Commissioner, thanks for joining us. Let's go back to Brent.
All right, Pat, thank you. And many of you will be watching that Maryland against Clemson game with the both coaches, Ross and Ford, upstairs with headsets. They both have been suspended by Coach James. Then Coach Crum with crutches because of a broken leg, and we understand that Coach Welsh of Virginia snapped an ankle bone, so he too will be on crutches when Virginia takes on North Carolina. There's the yardage at the half, the time of possession, the important number on the scoreboard, 17-3 Clemson, and here we go. And the deep man is Torrin Dorn of North North Carolina at the 4. Good return out beyond the 25-yard line. So next week, a doubleheader coming your way on Saturday afternoon. The Buckeyes of Ohio State on that roll behind Earl Bruce now. They'll take on the Wisconsin Badgers, the team that denied them the Rose Bowl a year ago. The second game, UCLA-Washington, many of you will see. Or you will watch the coachless game, Clemson against Maryland, on the day they gave college football back to the players. That's 1st and 10. And the backup quarterback has come on the field, and that era is Jonathan Hall.
Yes, he was injured. Mark May stepped in, and now Jonathan Hall is well. As a matter of fact, Coach Crum told me on Thursday that he might use him. You can see his numbers coming into this ball game. He's recovered from the injury, and obviously because of Mark May's ordinary first half, Jonathan Hall is in this game.
To put it up on the swing, he hits Fenner, first down. And Fenner gets beyond the 40 where Vince Taylor brings him down there. Era, the difference between the two quarterbacks.
Well, both of them are, I'd say that Jonathan Hall probably is a little better runner, has a little more experience, and started more ball games than Mark May. Mark May's been out a long time, but he came in when Jonathan got hurt, but he did so well that they kept him in there. But of course, that first half changed the decision here.
1st and 10 for the Tar Heels. Fenner getting a couple of hard yards against that Clemson defense, and the Tigers have been very tough to run on all season long. How about that bandit, number 12?
Number 12, the bandit end, always over the tight end. You see him right there on the right side there. Wards off the block of Barton. Barton's turning him out. He comes all the way around, but he does not get, well, I guess he comes at the tail end of it. Barton did turn him away from the hole.
2nd and 7. Show blitz. And they run Fenner on the other side, but he is stacked up by the defense led by James Earl and Dwayne Walker.
I think North Carolina's got to establish a passing attack off the run action to get back into the game. It seems to me that the offensive and defensive lines of Clemson thus far in the game have been able to control the Tar Heels, and I think Coach Crum there has got to get his passing game going.
So a big 3rd down here. Hall takes off. Gets nowhere. Great tackle by James Earl, number 9.
There's another guy that came to Clemson as a quarterback. James Earl, number 9, fights off his block. Keeps coming right here on your right side. And as Jonathan Hall tries to run the ball, he had a lot of daylight in front, but Earl brought him down, and they're forced to kick.
And Kenny Miller will handle the punting for the Tar Heels. Wolford lets it bounce inside the 15-yard line. Good punt by Miller. So the Clemson Tigers will have possession for the first time in the second half when we come back. Several heroes for the Clemson Tigers this afternoon, and around the country, let's check in on some other big men on campus. Jim Harbaugh, the fine quarterback at Michigan. He was 14 of 20, 31-7. Then DJ Dozier, as Penn State remains unbeaten like Michigan with 111 yards. Florida's comeback against Georgia, and Kerwin Bell throws for 272 yards and 3 touchdowns. Paul Palmer, great running back up at Temple, rushes for 212 yards and 2 scores this afternoon. And here it has been the quarterback, Rodney Williams, against the Tar Heels of North Carolina, who has keyed this 17-3 lead right now. He brings Clemson to the line of scrimmage. Terrence Flagler is his lone setback. Lancaster in motion. They run behind the man in motion. And Flagler out to the 17-yard line.
It was the same play that they've had success with in the first half. Every time they ran that pitch sweep from that formation with the motion, they gained big yardage. But that time, at least North Carolina did a better job and held them to only about 3. An improvement at any rate.
the sideline. He splits out to the right. This is second down and about 6 for the Tigers. And Lancaster is met head-on at the point of attack by Tim Goad, number 76.
Denny Marson, the defensive coordinator for the Tar Heels, said that he planned to change his defense in the second half by moving Goad, number 76, the nose man, and shading the center instead of being over the guard. Changes the blocking combinations, and thus far it's been successful.
Will he do it in this situation on this third down and about 5 era?
He is. He's lined up on the shaded side of the center right there.
Williams to throw. Complete for the first down.
Good throw by Williams. He just drilled the ball in there. He's having a good day. From the end zone, you'll just see he rolls out. The fullback gets a beautiful block on number 93, Reuben Davis. Lancaster, and of course Williams gets the ball as Williams delivers it. You got two Williams, the catcher Ray, the thrower Rodney.
They've got about 3 other Williams on this team. None of them related, I might add. And on first down, the fullback and that change in the alignment, that defensive maneuver that you talked about, will cause Clemson to change its blocking scheme a little bit.
Exactly. They went in at halftime and made their adjustments. I'm talking about Clemson. They didn't have to make too many because they were blocking the even look very successfully. Thus far, the 3 times they've tried to run with Goad shaded over the center, which draws that block and requires the guards and tackles to block different combinations, has worked. Let's see if it continues to work.
On second and 10, Williams rolls against it complete. And down the right sideline was Gary Cooper, a reserve wide receiver, and it's a 34-yard gain.
Gary Cooper does a great job. He's up at the top here. He's got single coverage. It's a double zone back here. But he loses him as he goes up the sideline. The perfect route goes inside the cornerback. There he is right in the seam. And, of course, the safety man here coming up misses a tackle, number 37, which is Derek Donald. And finally, Bailey, number 29, with help, gets him down.
Williams' passing game turns the Tigers on this drive. Ray Williams busts a tackle, gets to the 29-yard line before he is finally brought down. They ran in the first half, and now it is the passing getting the job done.
They're keeping the Tar Heels off balance. Williams there is not a very big guy. He's only 5'10", 177, but he ran like a power back. He shook off all kinds of intended tacklers. Nice job by Williams.
Now they come with a double tight end, Coley and Riggs. And they'll run Flagler. First down to the 21-yard line, and Bailey brings him down.
The backs are finding the seams wherever they are. It was a pitch sweep. The hole was to the inside as you watch it here. 2 tight ends. There's the pitch. Tight end Riggs blocking very nicely. Number 99 out there. There's another block by the guard blocking out. Fullback 49 does a nice job, which is Lancaster. Good blocking by the entire Clemson team.
Carried 12 times for 70 yards today, has Flagler. This is first and 10 for the Tigers. Lancaster. He's inside the 20-yard line with that burst. Leonard Dempsey, 61, tackling him. The Tigers are averaging better than 6 yards a pop against this defense this afternoon.
From the ground level, you'll see the interior, you'll see the center, and the 2 guards split away. They run the trap right up the middle. Williams, 75, comes across the hole to trap, but it's closed down. There's only about 3 yards on the play.
2 tight ends, and it's Flagler coming around the left side, going for the corner, breaks a tackle, he'll score. Caldwell attempting the extra point. And the Tigers of Clemson move a step closer to sole possession of first in the ACC. It's 24-3. The Tigers are on a roll, Era.
Look at Chris Lancaster, number 49, the fullback, block out on Davis, number 4, who is blitzing. Flagler finds his seam, then comes to the outside and down the sideline with his tremendous speed. His number 19, Burmeister, tries to grab him, loses him, and it's a well-blocked, well-run play. This is a fine Clemson team this afternoon.
Ooh, are they tough? And we'll see what the Tar Heels have got to respond with.
Let's look at this this touchdown from a defensive point of view. Norris Davis blitzes right here and is blocked out by Lancaster, and he runs it inside of it. But Burmeister, the free safety, is supposed to come up and tackle, but Flagler's got so much speed, he outruns him. Watch here. There's Davis and blocked by the fullback. Now here you are right here with Burmeister coming on Flagler. Looks like he's got the angle. Now look at it. Loses him just because of sheer speed. There he goes into the end zone. But why did it go? Look right here at John Phillips make a beautiful cutoff block on the nose man. Watch this. This makes the play with no pursuit. Look at him cut off down to the inside. Right there, a beautiful cutoff block. And away they go.
Tremendous blocking by the Clemson offense here this afternoon. On their first 2 scoring drives, Williams did not put the ball up once. On that last one, he was 3 for 3. Terrence Flagler continues to run up impressive numbers down here for these Clemson Tigers. You are born a Clemson Tiger fan. Now it'll be up to Dorn to see if he can give the Heels a little field position. He busts one out to the 27-yard line. Well, tomorrow we get a full slate of NFL action. You're going to want to check in on that Chicago Bears story, the turmoil surrounding that team. When is Jim McMahon going to play again? He's not slated to go tomorrow. You'll see Washington. They came up with a great one last Sunday against Minnesota. And also the Rams go into New Orleans. They stayed down in New Orleans, down in Louisiana, and trained after beating the Bears on Monday night. The Giants have got one against the Eagles, and Joe Montana coming back. That's the story of the week. Back surgery a few weeks ago, and he's going to try it against St. Louis. Here, Jonathan Hall hands one off to Fenner, and it took about 5 orange jerseys to finally bring him to a grinding halt out there near the 35-yard line. And it'll take the big play to get the Tar Heels back in this.
It's the big play that killed them in previous games when they lost 2 of their last 4 and gave up over 30 points a game. This particular game, it hasn't been the big play. It's been the consistent running attack of the Clemson Tigers. Now they've got to make the big play to get back into it.
Brad Lopp is the fullback. Incomplete. He threw the ball inside of John Keller, the tight end.
Jonathan didn't throw a very good ball. He threw the ball way behind him. Had him wide open, did not deliver.
Well, the Southeast Conference. Auburn coming back against Cincinnati, leading 21-0. And how about that rally by Florida against the Bulldogs against Dooley? And then Kentucky beating Vanderbilt. Well, the Southeastern Conference again featuring some exciting games in Hall. Getting to the 35, and he is short of the first down. James Lott and Vince Taylor, number 5 and number 58, did the job.
Boy, they are really fired up, aren't they? This is a reverse option here. Steps like to the fullback, makes a complete pivot, keeps the ball, but look at the swarming Clemson Tigers come in and stop the play, and they're forced to punt.
And Wolford fields it at the 33. Out at the 35-yard line. We have 6:29 to go in the third period. Clemson leading North Carolina 24-3. First place in the ACC is at stake. Well, a major difference between football and baseball is in football, if you yank your starting pitcher, you can put him back in the game. And Mark May throwing again on the Tar Heel sideline. We'll see what that means as far as Coach Crum is concerned. You know, Aaron, I want to ask you about a good friend of ours, Alex Agassi, who underwent heart surgery. How's he coming along?
Coming along great, and I know many of his friends around the entire country may not have known about it, but very suddenly he had open heart surgery a week ago Friday. I talked to him on Thursday. He was going to get out the next day. The old Grizzly Bear is up and at him. 3-time All-American, coach at Northwestern, Purdue, super guy.
And Alex, your team today did great. 31-7.
He's happy with that.
Here it is, 1st and 10 for Clemson. The Tigers up 24-3. And they run the short man, the fullback, out to the 40, and he gets 5 of those yards. Tracy Johnson, who checks in and gives Lancaster a break in the action. The great depth at running back here for Clemson. And in case you joined us late, he suspended 2 of his wide receivers, Terrence Rulehack and also Keith Jennings. But it has not slowed this Clemson team a bit. If anything, they have drawn strength from it. Circle the wagons. And here it's Flagler, and he is hammered short of the first down. There was a penalty marker thrown into the middle of the action down there on that hit.
Going back to Tracy Johnson, of course, you see Dick Crum. I'm sure that he's disappointed. He's got enough problems hanging on to those crutches, let alone watching a clip play. But Tracy Johnson's just a sophomore, adding to those great backs. He's 6 foot, 235 pounds. And Lancaster is 235. No wonder they're coming out of that backfield and bumping people around.
So the penalty being straightened out by the officials. And that allows the coordinators over here on the Clemson side to get the players in the game they want for this particular situation. They have been shuttling wide receivers all game long. Cooper has played a role, as has Hooper. Those are the 2 Tigers who replaced the suspended pair. Let's get down to Pat O'Brien. Pat?
Brent, just a quick report on Mark May. I just talked to him, and he said he expects to go in the next series. So we'll see if that's true or not. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Pat, thank you. We've got a 2nd and 20 after that penalty was marked off. There's Riggs. And the big tight end gets out to the 45-yard line, a 20-yard gain, that quick pop pass to him, and he goes right back after the first down. What a good-looking athlete he is.
Brent, this is one of the tough passes in football. This is Riggs right here. Now, you'll see him fake away from him. Everybody responds the other way, and then he turns back and throws the ball right there. Watch here. He fakes to the right. There's Riggs wide open. Both linebackers have moved off to their left, and there he is wide open. And Rodney puts it there.
Now this is 3rd and very short. Williams kept it, and all he had to do was get to that 45-yard line. Riggs was stopped just short of it. Dempsey and Goad jam him up for the Tar Heel defense down there. But we talked about Williams at the top of the broadcast, Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. 2 weeks ago, Aaron and I looked at him and said, wait a minute, this is a quarterback of a major college team. He had all kinds of difficulty against North Carolina State. Yesterday, there were a couple of pro scouts over in the Clemson offices, and I said, well, who do you like? And they're running down the seniors, and they said, Brent, you know, he's not a senior, but that quarterback at Clemson is really very impressive. I said, what are you telling me? They said, no, really, he had a great game against Wake Forest. And here this afternoon, he has been an impressive leader for Danny Ford out there.
And Danny told me yesterday, he says, I hope we put on a little better show than we did over at North Carolina State. I think he knew a little something.
Well, don't put on too good a show, Coach. We're used to those close endings. When the legend and I show up, we want a little action down at the end, right, Aaron?
Well, you better get North Carolina State's passing game going if you want that. Look at those rushing yards for Clemson.
Well, North Carolina State upset today by Virginia. And there's Johnson battering inside the 50-yard line. And the Tigers stay on a roll against this defense.
A lot of people talk about what's an even front, what's an odd front. You see the center here is uncovered, and both of the guards are down over the guards. And when we talk about an odd, there's a man directly over that center. That's the difference between even and odd.
2nd and 4. Hooper comes in motion. The defense is ready this time. And still, he gets a couple out of it. That was Walter Bailey, number 29. Trying to ride him down. Boy, Flagler is a load when he comes at you, isn't he?
Well, you can just see everything, all the movement. Oh, he got a face mask on it. He grabbed a hold of his face mask. Probably a 5-yarder, probably inadvertent. Let's take a look here as Bailey comes across. But you can see the thrust of the runners of Clemson, right?
Face mask.
Oh, yeah, there he is. He's got a hold of it. Yeah. Took it off too late.
That'll give Clemson a first down. It's like trying to bring down Bulldog a steerer, if you will. You got to get that hand and some leverage up there on the horn. The defensive guy said anything I can get a hold of with him. Williams to throw on first down. There's Riggs again. Boy, he has blocked and he has caught passes coming from that tight end position, and Norris Davis brings him down for the heels. Back down to Pat O'Brien. Pat?
All right, Brent, we're going to try to do this one. Look at this. Of all the orange here, these guys have painted themselves orange and white. Why do you do this?
To show Clemson's spirit for us.
How long does it take to put that stuff on?
About 20 minutes.
How long does it take to take it off?
About 30 minutes in the shower.
Are your parents proud of you?
Yes, they're watching me today. I'm on!
Another career-ending interview. Let's go back to Brent.
Got a lot of mothers wondering who that is.
Flagler busts the tackle and gets to the 26-yard line. He said 30 minutes to take it off. It's more like 3 days.
The great surge of the Clemson line again. Look at the hole open up. I mean, there is definite command of that line of scrimmage. It started in the first quarter and continued right on through in this ball game. Look at the move here. Derek Dodge finally brings him down, number 37, but he almost lost it. Danny Ford's got to be mighty happy right there.
He's got a first down. Ball's put down. There's penalty markers. That ball is still rolling free down by the 15-yard line where an official finally retrieves it. But penalty flags thrown on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Boston College beating Temple and Palmer this afternoon. Syracuse over Navy. So the Orangemen come back here in the second half of the season with a couple of wins. And Army over Air Force. That's a bit of a surprise. West Virginia beating Rutgers. Mountaineers go on the road to do that. And Penn remains unbeaten. And Columbia stays winless. Cornell shuts out Yale. And Mass over Harvard. First and 15 after the penalty. Williams. And he busts inside the 25-yard line with Buletich hanging on.
Dan Buletich's dad coaches at Rice, was at Michigan for years with Bo Schembechler, and they had a week off, and I saw him this morning in the hotel. He was having breakfast with his wife, and I'm sure that he's not too happy to see what is happening in this football game.
Williams and Hooper are the wide receivers for Ford. Thrown to Williams.
Oh, he picked that right off the shoe tops.
Either that or off the grass.
No, it was a good one. I could see it from here.
Had it all the way.
I'm telling you, he made a great catch. The ball was right down at his shoelaces.
You're sure it is?
Yeah, you take another look at it. He does a great job. Williams gets down. He's got great hands. Take another look at it here. Look at this, boy. Look at that. He just sucked that ball right up.
You haven't lost the eyesight. I'll tell you that. The eyes don't go first.
I'm right about 1 out of 10. That's not bad.
This will be 3rd and 1 for Clemson. Johnson is the fullback. And Williams keeps it himself, going for the first down at the 16-yard line. It has been an impressive Clemson Tiger team here this afternoon. In the Big Ten, Michigan with a chance to move up to number 2 in the polls with that one. And Ohio State on a roll toward the annual confrontation with the Wolverines. Next week, you'll see those Buckeyes against Wisconsin. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll come your way at noon with Michigan against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl and everything else on the line. First and 10. There's the fullback. Clemson. Going into the heart of that defense, Leonard Dempsey, 61, who has been a very active linebacker here this afternoon for the Heels, bringing him down. We are inside of a minute in the third quarter. Another touchdown here by the Tigers, and it'll be awfully tough going in that fourth quarter for the Heels.
Well, the Heels just have not been able to establish a passing game, and obviously you cannot run consistently against this Clemson team.
Here is the pitch. Flagler, he's going. Touchdown, Clemson. Another step closer toward taking over first place in the ACC.
Another look at this. The fullback gets another great block, but there is a missed tackle right in here. Great running for the touchdown. It's almost a carbon copy of the last one. But their missed tackle makes a big difference. I couldn't quite see who it is. It slips off. There's the great block on Davis. Again, Norris Davis, number 4. It's almost a picture of what the last time we saw the touchdown.
We'll come back. The Clemson Tigers continue on a roll. We are back, Coach, and let's take another look as Flagler goes 13 yards for the score.
It was Tim Goad, number 76, who almost came off and made the play on Flagler, but lost him in the backfield there. Watch here. Number 76, Tim Goad, comes off of his block, gets into the backfield right there, reaches for Flagler, and comes off of him because Flagler's too strong a runner. And of course, there's the rest of it is so well blocked, Flagler just walks into the end zone.
Great block by DeUlius, too. Another one of those impressive offensive linemen down here in Clemson. Flagler has now moved into the second spot on their single-season rushing list here in Clemson with 1,078 yards, and there's a young man who will try to break that record. Downstairs to Pat O'Brien. Pat?
Brett, one guy who's not enjoying all the scoring is the Tiger. How many push-ups have you done so far today? He does it for each point.
This will be 93 after this one.
What's your record?
So far, we've probably done about 201 games.
Yeah, I think the school record's about 1,330 for the season. Go on and do your push-ups. The Tiger does his push-ups one more time, Brent. He's done 93 today. I think he wants him to stop scoring.
All right. Sile with the kickoff. And Dorn, the deep man at the 5. He is out to the 23-yard line. Oh, he just loved Pat O'Brien sending him back to work. That's all he wanted to do. Just go in there and nail down a few extra ones, and the crowd's picking up the chant.
Brett, the North Carolina team has given up 395 yards a game, and already Clemson has got 359, 250 yards on it, 251 on the ground. So with another quarter to go, you can see the dominance of the Clemson Tigers in handling the North Carolina defense.
And Mark May is returning for Coach Crum to see if he can ignite a fire in this offense. They'll put it up on first down, and he hits Keller. What a tackle over there by Delton Hall, number 35, the veteran cornerback. Really wailed into the tight end.
6'1", 200-pound senior Delton Hall made a picture book tackle.
So we've come to the end of the third quarter. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local station. CBS Sports presents college football, sponsored by Michelob Light, super premium taste and less filling beer, and by MCI, communications for the next 100 years. All right, we are back. North Carolina with a 2nd and 5 starting the fourth quarter and trailing 31-3. It is complete on the far side to Randy Marriott. The 6-foot sophomore receiver run out of bounds by still another Williams on this Clemson team. What an afternoon for college football. When leading in the fourth quarter, Clemson is almost unbeatable. Not almost, scratch it. They are this year. And Benner comes out on first down beyond the 40 to the 41-yard line. Well, the big issue I want to raise today is who's number 2. Penn State came in number 2, but they struggled a little bit, beating Maryland by only 2 points. Now, meanwhile, number 3 gunned down Purdue 31-7 on the road. And Oklahoma says, hey, don't forget us. And they run it up 77-0. And how about that? 28-16, Stanford with the lead. It's dropped off to Fenner on second down, and he is swarmed under again. Otis Moore, number 81. They've been going all afternoon long here.
The ball carriers in North Carolina and their receivers are going to be seeing orange all night. Every time they've got the ball, there's about 11 of them over there.
So we would like to warn some of you that you will be checking in on that Stanford-UCLA game. That would knock UCLA just about completely out of the Rose Bowl picture. They'll update that story for you. May is hit at the last second, and the pass is intercepted by Delton Hall, number 35, coming down the near sideline. Delton Hall is inside the 15. There is a penalty marker down where he was tackled.
Foul on it. Going to add. This just was not a very good throw here by Mark May. He just lofted the ball clear over the receiver's head. You can see that he was hit just as he threw the ball. And of course, here's Hall, escorted there by Beasley, number 27. Down the sideline he goes, and there must have been a personal foul right at the point of the tackle. See if we can pick it up. Oh, that late hit right there. Yep.
That hit was delivered by James Earl. And he got in high on that right arm. And that caused the ball to wobble a little bit on release. And the Tigers are about to put their mascot back to work. They are inside the 10-yard line. We've got 13:37 to go. They'll have a first and goal. He brought that interception back 49 yards. Mark May, who sat out a couple of series here in the second half. And one of the offensive coaches conferring with the young man over on the far sideline. This is a big disappointment for him. He was such a celebrated high school prospect coming to Carolina. Then he suffered all the bad luck with the injuries. But the last few weeks he's played so well.
Now, but Brent, too, it's been the defense that has yielded the scores. The last 4 games, over 30 yards, you got to be a little suspicious. Look at here.
Flowers, touchdown, Clemson. Sile will attempt the extra point. Treadwell, his right leg may have been a little tired. It is 38-3. Clemson is going to move to first in the ACC. We're going to now take many of you to New York, where Jim Nantz will set the scene for the finish of the Stanford-UCLA game. Those of you leaving us will be kept up to date on the score of our game. So for those of you still with us, it is 38-3, and what an impressive offensive performance.
This is one of the few misdirection plays that Clemson has. Fake to the fullback, then hand it back to Flowers. here. He does a great job of running, not hurdling, but stepping over a would-be tackler and into the end zone for a touchdown, 7 yards. And we'll be back right after this message. Watch the left guard on this touchdown play and also the left tackle. Williams and Granger, who will pull and lead the play. The fake is to the fullback, and then, of course, the counter play to that hole. Watch it. Watch the left guard, left tackle pull. 75, Williams, Granger. And, of course, look at the blocking right there. Beautiful job, and 7 yards into the end zone by Flowers.
Flowers has scored 2 touchdowns for the Tigers. Flagler has scored 2. And the quarterback, Williams, kept it for perhaps the most important. That was the first one. That put them up 7-3, and they have not been headed. 5 touchdowns and 1 field goal this afternoon by Danny Ford. And Sile will kick it off to Dorn, number 44 for Coach Ford. This puts Clemson right into the thick of the race for a bowl. I know the Sun Bowl down El Paso way is very interested in this bunch. Picked up at the 15. And knocked out of bounds on that far sideline. Boy, they are coming with a fever right now as this team moves to first place. North Carolina State upset by Virginia this afternoon. They have lost 2 conference games to Georgia Tech and Virginia. Clemson has been beaten only by State. They'll take over first place.
It's been quite a performance by the Clemson Tigers in every way.
Dorn stays in the game with Thompson. May, under pressure, gets it off to Thompson. And May was belted back into the end zone by Marable, number 56, who came off the bench, and he delivers a wallop. 13-22, and if this holds up, the ACC standings will look like this. Clemson at 5-1 ahead of North Carolina State, and North Carolina falls into a tie with Georgia Tech at 3-2. They would have lost to both State, and now this afternoon to Clemson. And you'll be able to see this Clemson team against Maryland next week. Maryland battled Penn State this afternoon, so maybe they could do a favor for North Carolina State. And meanwhile, after the Maryland game, they will play South Carolina. That's a bit of a war. They forget all about the conference on that day down here.
Oh, that's a big traditional rivalry.
Well, the luck of the orange uniform works again for the Tigers. 3rd and 3, and May moving the pocket. Gets out to the 22-yard line. He may have been stopped short of the first down, and that is Norman Haynes, number 14. He has delivered one impressive tackle after another here this afternoon. Boy, he has hit hard.
And he's not that big. He's a little guy compared to the rest of the linebackers you see in the country. He's only 5'10 and 205. And you're generally looking at 6'1", 6'2", 230 guys in there.
Well, Miller forced the punt again, and the Tigers will take over. That's Wilford at the 31. He makes his way out to the 38-yard line. Well, Coach Ford suspends 2 wide receivers, a backup linebacker, and I asked him about Bear Bryant and how he would have faced a situation like this.
Guarantee I'd got a call this week because he never called you unless you were in trouble, and he would know that we would be in trouble a little bit. So he was a brilliant fellow, and he could handle people very well. I hope I can just get our people motivated and can overcome what they have to overcome.
He has motivated them and overcome indeed, and he keeps the ball right on the ground. That is Steve Griffin, and the story unfolding now is at the quarterback position. He has sent the freshman Chris Morocco into the game, and Morocco replaces Rodney Williams. Now Morocco wears uniform number 8. He is the backup. Randy Anderson lost for the season because of the freak accident, so your chance to watch the freshman here at Clemson.
It's a good opportunity to give him some experience because as you pointed out, Anderson is out for the rest of the year, and at least give Morocco a chance to get in there and get a little competition.
Coming into the North Carolina State game, I was convinced, as you take a look at a very unhappy coach Dick Crum on the North Carolina sideline, this is one of their poor performances of the season. They lost a dramatic game to North Carolina State. LSU ripped them, and now Clemson has torn into them. And using Johnson, the fullback.
Brent, one of the things that in looking at the North Carolina defense, 4 games ago, Wake Forest got 30 points on them. North Carolina State got 35. LSU got 30. Maryland got 30. And, of course, now 33 on the board with 10-34. So we should have been a little suspect about the defense.
Yeah, it's 38-3. Clemson over North Carolina, 10-25. They've had 5 touchdowns here this afternoon and a field goal. The Tigers will punt it away, and the Tar Heels will get another opportunity. They went after it, and the punter goes down. There's the penalty flag. Bill Spires, the punter, was hit, and boy, did he go down in a hurry.
And the ball remained in the possession of the Clemson Tigers, and it's been that kind of day for the North Carolina Tar Heels. You've got to go to the point where the ball is going to be punted, not to the punter. Get away from him. He could have avoided that very easily. That's Goad, number 76, did not use good judgment. And a pretty good showtime for the kicker.
You better believe that was good showtime. Now, near the conclusion of this game, Era, you and I are going to again participate in that 16-year tradition. We're going to select a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each of these teams.
We have a 5-yard penalty. Running into the kicker. The penalty is declined. It'll be first down, Carolina.
And Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. You do not see that very often. Let's go downstairs to Pat O'Brien. Pat?
All right, Brent, earlier we met one of the Perry brothers. Now this is the man who brought you the French, Holly Perry. Did you ever think you would be the father of a football family?
Didn't have no idea. Never.
What's it like when all these guys come home? What do they do, all 8 Perry brothers?
Just a big family. All they do is speak of football, basketball, and any kind of sports.
They put you on the spot. Which one are you the most proud of?
Well, William is doing good. So I am very proud of Dino, of course. He's coming on, the last boy and the baby boy.
All right, thanks for joining us. Brent, here's a man who can honestly say he has a ton of kids. Let's go back up.
Thank you, Pat. I want to say hello to Inez Perry, the mother. She has been under the weather here lately and spent some time in a hospital, and I know she's back there in their home watching one of her sons here. And Mama Perry, you can be awful proud of your boys. They are fine young men. May is back. Throws complete right over the middle. He hit Eric Streeter. So they finally got the ball into the hands of Streeter. Streeter was one of those players last week who beat a drum on Maryland, especially in that last series. He came down the field and caught 2 important third-down passes. I want to follow up on a decision that was made by Coach Ford here in a moment. They're going to come up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10. 9:15. Out to the 35-yard line. A short time ago, Coach Ford made a decision that was very classic. The score here is 38-3. He could have had a first down after roughing that punter, but instead they declined the penalty. They gave the ball back to the Tar Heels, feeling enough is enough. North Carolina can have it. We lead them 38-3. Now, this has been a tough, hard-fought rivalry. The fans of Clemson don't particularly care for the fans of North Carolina, et cetera, et cetera. But it's nice to see that the men who are downstairs calling the shots know when to call it off in a situation like that. And Ford did exactly that, Aaron.
Well, you're exactly right, Brent. This is a fierce rivalry. They don't like one another particularly, but you said it very well. I think Danny Ford showed a lot of class there. They could have taken the ball with a 15-yard penalty, ground in another one, but they elected to give the ball to the Tar Heels deep in their own territory, not because of field position, but as you pointed out of common decency.
North Carolina to 49.
38-3. Clemson going to first in the ACC, and Finner hunting it right straight ahead. How about the Southeastern Conference? Auburn coming back after that disappointing loss, 28-0 in the third. And how about this one? This Florida bunch has put it together here lately, 31-19. Kentucky with the win over Vanderbilt, 34-22. And Tennessee over Memphis State, 33-3. Had an opportunity to spend some time in Knoxville this week. They had a fine dinner for Lindsey Nelson over there, honoring a longtime great sportscaster. May going long, overthrows his receiver, incomplete. And the Southwest Conference, Baylor beating Arkansas in a key game, 29-14. Those are two of the quality teams. SMU, which lost two heartbreakers in the last 2 minutes to their rivals, they travel up to South Bend. They were pounded. Freddie Akers battling on in Texas, 30-10 over Houston. And Texas Tech leading TCU 29-7. That's how it looks in the Southwest Conference right now. And here it is May. And that should be interference. There's the flag. There was no question about it. Harry Williams pulled him down from around the shoulder pad, and the flag was thrown down around the 30-yard line.
Another many of the Williamses that they have on this Clemson team. There's 5 of them. This is a backup cornerback, also plays the nickelback. You can see he made contact. I think he had a hold of his mask.
So the Tar Heels keep it going. You know, I mentioned all the Williams. Folks, there are 3 Terrences in this game. Well, I should say they were in this game. They play at Clemson. And look at that. They all spell that first name differently. That was amazing to me.
I think you just go out and recruit guys with Terrence. Everybody leads in something.
You know, they've got one of the best media guides in the country in college football. They just love the sport of college football down here at Clemson. Danny Ford has coached them to a national championship. He was the youngest coach ever to do that. Tar Heels here with a 1st and 10. The ball is at the 32-yard line.
From the blitz, bringing everybody.
Incomplete. I want to ask you as a coach, why is it so frequently, like Danny Ford said to us, he said, you know, Lou Holtz suspended key players at Arkansas before an Orange Bowl. Bear Bryant sat down Joe Namath, and in each of those instances, the teams that were suspending the athletes won the game. And he felt confident here this afternoon. What happens to a group of athletes?
Well, I think he said it well. I think that they have a tendency to rally around. They think that they have lost some players, but by the same token, you have to have discipline on your team. If you violate the rules, you've got to set a standard and set some kind of a penalty and enforce it. Otherwise, you lose the respect of the whole team.
There's an incompletion. There's another penalty flag down there.
Those Williams, and of course, the penalty flag is at the line of scrimmage and probably holding. It's thrown by the umpire.
7:30. Well, I expected Clemson to be tough today, and they were favored by a touchdown coming into this game, but I didn't expect them to blow this open the way they have.
Well, I think it goes back to 2 weeks ago when we did the North Carolina State Clemson game, and we expected this kind of performance from them. And of course, North Carolina State played a great football game. I believe this team, holding, came in a little bit flat, never did get it back, and they lost the ball game. But this is the team that I think is going to finish up the rest of the season. I think that they're going to have a great finish, and obviously you're going to be without question a bowl candidate.
Now, there will be several bowls come after Clemson now with an impressive performance like this on television.
And you can see here how closely fought these games have been.
Last year, the Tar Heels rallied in the closing 2 minutes to pull it out. Here they have 7:30 with which to work, and they have not yet scored a touchdown.
20 from the 43.
I think you can hear the PA announcer with 2nd and 20. That's complete. And turning and scoring the first touchdown for the Tar Heels is Eric Streeter. A 43-yard pass from May to Streeter.
Looked to me like Delton Hall tried to go for the interception, missed the ball. Streeter picked it off, and of course just turned and went for the score. Let's see if we can see it right here in your lower left-hand corner is where it occurs. Looks like Hall, number 35. He overreacted that time. He was off balance, and Streeter turned away from him, and of course goes in for the first touchdown.
Learmas adds the extra point. North Carolina with its first touchdown. 7:24 to go. It's 38-10, Clemson. I want to have you meet an athlete who really deserves a lot of credit. He's the quarterback of North Carolina, Mark May. We see him pass and run out there. But what so many of you don't know is that along with that shoulder operation, he also battles a speech impediment. Now, think about that for a moment. Out there behind the line of scrimmage, and if you stutter, how difficult that can be to run a football team. But Mark has learned how to overcome that. And yesterday, I had an opportunity to talk to him about the difficulty of playing quarterback with a speech impediment.
Well, the only problem I have is things off the field. It's just on the field. The thing I feel a lot more comfortable than doing something like this. To be honest with you, and this is the biggest problem I have is right now. Doing something.
Isn't that a nice warm moment with that young man? And they have taught him how to breathe properly and overcome that. I think you could pick up some of that during the interview. And I talked to some of his teammates and I said, does the problem ever show up in the huddle or at the line of scrimmage? And they said, not at all, Brent. He never has any difficulty at all when he bends down inside that huddle. Now they have set up for the onside kick here. And it is 38-10. Clemson leading North Carolina. And we'll see if the Tar Heels can give May a chance to put another touchdown on the board. There's another reminder of what I told you a few moments ago, that we will do the Chevrolet Players of the Game from each of these schools, and Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to the general scholarship fund of those schools. So Clemson with the ball, and 7:22 to go. And the freshman Chris Morocco brings him up to the line of scrimmage. The fullback right straight ahead. And that was number 24 who just checked in, Harris. I mentioned the media guide here, and I really got to mention the sports information director down here at Clemson, Bob Bradley, who does such an excellent job and helped us out in our preparation, and also a fellow from up North Carolina way that I dearly love to work with, and that's Rick Brewer. And he's the SID of the Tar Heels, and I've been with him in basketball. And Morocco takes off. The freshman quarterback busts inside the 20.
It's a play that has killed the Tar Heels this afternoon. The option play, this time with a quarterback keep. The first time they gave the ball to the fullback. Now this time he keeps it, steps around. There's a great block downfield there. Look at that seam right there. That's going to help Morocco a great deal. Stepping in. And if he has to come in and back up Williams, why, he'll feel comfortable with the experience that he's got in this game, certainly with that run.
Sure will. A 28-yard gain. There's the first down inside the 20. And another good fake, and he keeps the ball. Uh-oh. Coach Crum will have some difficulty getting off the field. The Tiger is stealing the golf cart. That's probably Pat O'Brien inside that costume. Where is Pat O'Brien when we need him, by the way? Here it is, second down and 6, and Morocco, I think he wants one. He handed off that time to the fullback, Reggie Harris. Look who's enjoying a game down there, huh? Oh, yeah, he's having a great look at him sitting on a little orange back there. Look what he does down there at the games there, huh?
All right.
Oh, yeah. How would that be for a contract renegotiation? Here's how hard I work on a Saturday afternoon.
At least sees that next week, huh?
Hey. Oh, it's great to have him back. There's the pitch from Morocco. And Steve Griffin is cut off. It's our guy. Time running down here, and boy, Coach Crum can't end quickly enough for him.
Yeah, it's been a tough afternoon.
Those crutches get a little more wearisome when you're looking at that scoreboard. It's 38-10. So Rusty Sile will attempt a 27-yard field goal. No good. Clemson misses the field goal at the 4:35 mark. We'll be right back. We are back, and it's 38-10. Clemson over North Carolina. And Era, how about the North Carolina offense? What do they have to do? For the rest of the season, not today. That's what they got to do right there. Where's that play been all afternoon long?
Well, the defense has had a tough time, Brennan. But as I pointed out, it was the defensive failure, I believe, and the ability of the Clemson Tigers to run the football, run the option, also the power sweep, and keep the Tar Heels off balance all afternoon. It was a great game plan.
That was Dorn for 13 yards. I want to check in on that UCLA-Stanford game and see if that upset is continuing. May is back on first down. Throws to Dorn, and he gets 8 to 9 yards. So let's go to New York. Jim Nance. And Jim, what's happening?
All right, Brett, here comes UCLA. Gaston Green, 3-yard score, his third touchdown today. Stanford leads at 28-23, under 5 minutes to go. Back to Brent and Era.
Era, I will take UCLA and give you Stanford in that game.
5 minutes?
Incomplete. UCLA has got them just where they want them. It's about where they start the rush to the Rose Bowl, isn't it? With time running out, they're on the brink of elimination.
It's been unbelievable the number of times that they've been able to bail games out. They start slow, finish fast. Of course, they're still behind in the ball game.
Nebraska 35.
3.5 minutes to go. This is third and short.
SMU 20 down.
For the Tar Heels. And they bring Dorn back up the middle. And he gets the first down.
They're really high on Torin Doran. Quite a name there. Torin Doran. A freshman.
Look at that.
Oh,
Iowa.
Look at that.
Beaten by Illinois here this afternoon. May delivers as he's hit. Slips one out to Streeter on the side. They have been a much more impressive team offensively when they've used Eric Streeter as their primary receiver.
Streeter has done a good job in the ball game, but looks like it's a little too late, Brent.
Hey, how do you like that Tiger paw in the back of that head? Did you see it? May throws in.
Oh, yeah.
Throws his receiver.
I saw that yesterday.
That's one.
I saw that guy yesterday. Ask him if he could give me one of those.
Somebody on the team did that, folks.
Did a nice job.
It is very neat.
Very
those
neat.
lines, huh?
Very symmetrical.
Yeah. Pat O'Brien's probably going to get one of those before he leads Clemson, don't you think? 3 minutes to go. O'Brien will be looking for me with a switch. Well, it's Notre Dame and Penn State next week in South Bend.
Irish are coming back.
And those of you who want to see that can watch it on another network. Meanwhile, we got a lot of action coming your way. We'll have Ohio State and Wisconsin started off. And then the second game of the doubleheader, of course, will match this same Clemson bunch against Maryland. And that'll be the coachless game. There's our first game. And UCLA matched against Washington, so if the Bruins can come back all the way and beat Stanford, that'll be a key game. Then Ross in the press box and Ford in the press box. 3rd and 16. Intercepted. Williams picks it off, and there's a penalty flag down. It's down back at the line of scrimmage.
It looks like it's against the Tar Heels. They're going off the field.
Well, the ACC turned around on one Saturday afternoon. North Carolina State went down to Charlottesville, Virginia, to take on the Cavaliers, and they were upset. Word of that filtered into this stadium in the second quarter. And Clemson never looked back. They lead it 38-10, and they will move into sole possession of first place. And these are the folks who have helped us out down here this afternoon and done another one of their fine jobs. Without them, we couldn't put these pictures up on the air, let me tell you.
Oh, Joe Assetti does a super job.
And we've had some cameramen who have been with us too throughout another great season of college football here on CBS. There they are. And the videotape men that re-rack all those replays. Get them up for you. My spotter is now putting numbers on the chart with question marks after them. We better go get Bob Bradley and find out who's cleaning up this game. The last 2:45, and it's 38-10. The Tigers have dominated this one offensively and defensively. And it'll be a long, tough ride home for North Carolina. Well, they go to Todd Schonar, a third quarterback, number 10. And he is greeted rather rudely as he attempts to duplicate what Williams and Morocco have done. Now that Stanford UCLA game that we've been mentioning, 28-23, I want to remind those of you who stayed with us for the conclusion of this game, you are going to get to see the end of that game. We're going to go right out there. We're inside of 2 minutes, and the coaches are letting time run out in this one. So we're going to send you out to the Rose Bowl. And Jim Nance will send you directly. He'll update the story for you and probably have a highlight or two along the way to show you how that one's unfolded. That could be a dandy coming up. It's been this running game all game long. Reggie Harris has done a job coming off the bench. Kenny Flowers scored twice. And there'll be other afternoons for Barton. If not at North Carolina, then in the National Football League. He is one of the better offensive linemen in football, coming out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. And he'll get another chance here with the series with the final minute 30 to go.
Field flag, formation. Eric Lewis, deep for North Carolina.
Spires. Booms a punt. Lewis. Out to the 39-yard line, where the Heels will put it in play there for the final 119. And at 12:30 tomorrow, NFL Today will come your way before the key games. Doug Flutie will check in on that week. It'll be the Bears down in Tampa. Maybe Flutie will play a little bit. Allie Sherman will drop by. We'll be hearing from him at halftime. And Irv Cross, Jimmy the Greek. Irv will be looking at why not a black head coach. Era?
Hey, I had a guy that by the name of Greg Blige, a black coach who was tremendous. I think he could be a head coach anywhere.
Well, one of these days, someone will get a chance. That's all it's going to take. And that is Mike Bowman, number 11, quarterbacking the Tar Heels, running out the clock here in this route. He's from Bronxville, New York. His mother and father travel down, I know, to Chapel Hill a lot. Dr. Fred Bowman and his wife Betsy. They're very proud of that young man. He was an outstanding high school quarterback. And his father, a graduate of North Carolina, is now a leading heart surgeon in the New York area. And I'll tell you one thing about those folks from North Carolina that I meet around the country. They dearly love their school. Their children are always going back down there to school. It's one of the finest schools in the country. Not having a very good afternoon in football, but then there are other days. That's why they schedule games next week. Here it has been all Clemson. The Tigers have put on one of their more impressive shows of the year. And our Chevrolet players of the game, defensively for North Carolina, he was a standout, number 76, Tim Goad this afternoon. And for Clemson, it's really a pleasure to give it to Rodney Williams. And Chevrolet will give $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of both schools. Era, your impression of Mr. Williams?
Oh, he had a tremendous. The last thing I expected is for him to win the Chevrolet Player of the Award after watching him 2 weeks ago where he was 5 for 20. But boy, what a performance he put on here. He vindicated himself, both running and passing. And this Clemson team with Williams moving the football is a very, very powerful ball club. And Danny Ford had it right. He's going to put on a little better show, and that he did.
So we're winding it down here inside of 50 seconds, and then we're going to send you out to that UCLA game. UCLA and Stanford has been ahead, but the Bruins are coming back. They need to win this one and then get help against Arizona State. Arizona State is in the driver's seat out there in the Pac-10 right now. There's his numbers, but he led that triple option attack, and he has got a great tailback. This is a fine-looking football player. Terrence Flagler, number 33, is out of Florida like so many running backs, wide receivers. Oh, it seems like every time you look at a roster on a good college football team, especially down here in the Southeast, you see a back or a wide receiver out of the state of Florida. High school football must be something to watch down there in Florida.
This is a magnificent stadium also, Brent, for him to come into play. This is a tremendous stadium. The second deck has got to be a great view up there.
You know, one of the things that impresses me about the fans down here in Clemson, they're rabid and they're loyal and they don't get out of hand. I was talking to some of the coaches like Coach Crum, and he said, no, they've never been nasty to us down here. They love it when Clemson does well, and that's the way it should be. Second and 7. And seconds continuing to tick away here. That was Dorn, number 44, running into Clay Gilstrap, number 37, who made the stop. Well, our stats man, Roger Riley's been a little bit busy over there with the adding machine on those rushing stats, Coach.
I mean, for a team that came in here just giving up 140 yards a game rushing, Clemson did a real number in commanding the offensive line and really running the ball.
Well, tonight on CBS, The Wizard. We've seen a wizard here, haven't we, this afternoon? And the Saturday night movie Lassiter. Tom Selleck is in that film. That's coming up tonight on CBS. The comeback player of the game, though, is our spotter, James Tubbs. A year ago, Era, you and I were down here against Georgia, Clemson. It was so busy, so many substitutions, we had to recruit a second spotter out of the stands. But Mr. Tubbs, he took the entire burden on today, and he did the job.
It's just like experience. That's Morocco's getting experience. Tubbs got experience, and he's ready to go now.
You got to spot with the small hurts sometime. And he's gone inside the 25-yard line.
He is an exciting runner. I think that Doran is going to be a good one for North Carolina. Matter of fact, Barton pointed him out to me yesterday and said, watch this guy as he matures.
Bowman is back.
No, didn't have it.
That was number 80, Darryl Parham. He's a 6'7" tight end out of Lynchburg, Virginia. Better not let Dean Smith know that there's a power forward out there on this Tar Heel football team. He'll have him working out tomorrow. You were talking about Dorn. He's a freshman out of Southfield, Michigan. Here he is, slipping through that hole, and he is a good-looking running back.
Yes, he is.
But here this afternoon, it was all Clemson Tiger.
Going to get one more play in.
It's 38-10. And we'll take a timeout and be back. Well, last play, Bowman, incomplete. And they pour onto the field from the hill. A sea of orange, and they celebrate in style. 38-10. 10. The Tigers win it. They go to first in the ACC. Let's go to New York, and here's Jim Nantz. Jim.
All right, Brent, under 2 minutes to go.